All right, Pete, we shift the coaches here. I know you know all these teams inside and out from inside the 12, which is coming back in football season. Can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see it again. Well, we talked all about quarterbacks, but let's look at the coaching positions because I, I'm going to keep this question pretty open. It doesn't have to be a guy who's on his last legs. It can be a new guy even. But what coach in the Big 12 this year has the most to prove in your eyes?
Coach Prime. There's no question about it. He has lost a treasure trove of assets. How does he respond? Does his team now, is he going to be like one of those Florida State teams that he played on under Bobby Bowden? And after he left for Bobby Bowden in Florida State, if you remember, they don't recruit, they reload. That's what they used to say. Yeah. And Colorado is in a unique position where they are still the place to go, right? But we're going to find out, like, how badly big-time recruits and guys that can play wanted to go there this year. Because if they struggle after losing, I mean, Shedeur Sanders was amazing as far as not just –
number retired good.
Not just was he good, numbers-wise, and he's pretty efficient. He didn't throw a lot of picks when you compare
right, yeah.
for the second year in a row, but also he managed the game really well. And he was pretty cool head for that team. That's a huge,
especially for a guy with such an awful offensive line, like literally like having the cool head in those moments too.
Yeah. And what's going to come of, you lose Travis Hunter. And that's like such an issue on both sides of the ball. He was for opponents last year. And that becomes, in my opinion, such an issue on both sides of the ball for Colorado, because you have a guy now that if you remove him from your offense, that was somebody who, like, defensive coordinators would, like, really prepare for, right? You're losing sleep. How are we going to stop Travis Hunter? Well, that's gone, right? It changes the way you prepare for Colorado, and I think it puts more pressure on Colorado, Deion and his staff, to do a more sound job, a sharp job of getting these guys ready to play.
It's a good point. I mean, we're still, honestly, I know I'm a little bit on a different cart on this train than you are, but I think we're still trying to figure out if Deion can really coach at this level.
No, dude.
Like right now, it's 1 year at 9-3. Like, you know what I mean? 9-4 at the end of it.
It's my same thing now. We can talk about it with the NBA Finals having, in season. Tyrese Halliburton. Like, it's like, okay, he's a superstar. Let's all hold the phone. And here's what I mean. What he's doing is absolutely amazing, but you've got to be consistent with it. You've got to do it year after year, game after game. And I don't care what school you go to. If you transfer, that's fine. Just keep doing it. And if you can, or now we're talking about head coaches, but if you can't do it year after year, which is what Deion's going to have to do to prove that he really is that upper echelon coach. So far, he's come through, right? I mean, you look at his body of work, but
I wouldn't call him an elite coach. I wouldn't even say he's a top 5 coach in this conference. But you're right. Like he did turn a team that won 1 game into 2 years later winning 9 games. Like that's a big jump. We know that at Baylor. That's definitely a big jump.
And there's one outlier with him that is unfortunate, but I think it's one of the reasons I said him is his health. I feel like something weird is going on, and I think it will interfere with his ability to be as present and as locked in as he is used to being. I could be dead wrong. I have no evidence, nothing, but it seems like a situation that could quite possibly impact his ability to be the steward for this Colorado football program going forward.
It's interesting, man. And I'll give him credit so far. I didn't think he was going to stick around after the kids were gone. And I honestly wouldn't have blamed him too hard. I don't think. Anyway, from one team that's not on Baylor's schedule this year to another team that's not on Baylor's schedule this year, how do you feel about the whole Rich Rodriguez situation in West Virginia? I know it's a team that you actually do follow pretty closely in this conference. I don't know how you'd be able to sell it to me as a West Virginia fan.
Look, well, that's the only people you can sell it to. Are West Virginia fans.
Yeah,
I think that they're so close to the situation that and they are so desperate for like a feel good thing. I think that they leaned into the Rich Rod hire, right? I do not think it goes great. I just don't.
It's tough to see.
It's tough. I by the way, Ren Baker, their AD, is probably one of the best in the conference. And so that makes me believe in the move a little bit more. But I don't feel great about it. As that's sitting here with you, like prognosticating, that I would rather have like a young, slick guy. It's like let me give a good. It's like Mac Brown going back to North Carolina.
By the way, there's another one in our conference this year. UCF, Scott Frost. Just pull him back.
I think Scott Frost will do better.
I think Scott Frost had a better tenure. And I know this is way up for debate. Had a better tenure at UCF, national championship 2017, than Rich Rod had at West Virginia. They were both good. I still think Scott Frost is a good coach. And it's funny, I'm sitting here thinking of what a Baylor example would be, and it's not that crazy. If in 3 years or so, Dave Aranda gets fired and they pull Matt Rule back after an rather unsuccessful tenure
or
at
Kim
Nebraska. That's a little different. I think that's an easier one to sell. The 3 national championships here. Speaking of which, last question I want to ask you. When we talk about the coaches who have a lot to prove this year in this conference, and certainly I think Rich Rod and Scott Frost would also be high up on that list as well. Sonny Dykes, maybe even. Does Dave Aranda still fall on that list?
No, because he's got the undying support of Mac Rhodes.
I guess that's a good point.
Really?
Yeah.
So I don't think like he's like hot seat-ish or anything. Now he could be the guy. I love Dave. I pull for him, but he could be the guy. Like I mentioned this and made this comparison last year, like Wayne Fonts. Like the Lions would always find a way to like get in the playoffs and like save his job. Like, and Baylor fans don't want that, right? Every year where it's like, we're going to fire him this year. And then they win like 4 in a row. And it's like, we're going to keep him. Like, I could see that. I could maybe like, that's a possible scenario. But no, I think he's in great shape. Unless unless you come out and it's an abomination. But remember last year they came out and it was an abomination.
Yep.
So, and they finished great.
Did I ever tell you I worked with Wayne Fonts' grandson?
You did.
I did, yeah. In Odessa.
Because I made that. I've done this before.
That checks out. It's probably on air. It's probably like recorded somewhere on YouTube. Yes. It's probably out there. Anyway, all right. So Dave Aranda not on that list. Prime definitely on that list. Kyle Whittingham on the list?
No.
I do think Sonny Dykes is an interesting one though. One good year with somebody else's players. It reads a lot like Aranda before this year. But they never bottomed out, I guess, the way Baylor did. They didn't go 3-9. So
no, and look, I think if he has if he has a really bad year this year, like I could see them make a change. Sure.
Because TCU's a good job. I mean, this is the second time I've pumped up their tires in this episode. I can't.
They're also they understand who they are. Now, they've had a lot of success college basketball-wise when you look at their history as a team. Yeah. Like, they never made the friggin' tournament until Jamie Dixon got there. I mean, like, it'd been 25 years.
They were horrible.
So it'd have been, like, I think Billy Tubbs was the last one to take TCU to the NCAA tournament. I could be wrong. I think he was. But even when Jamie Dixon has, like, these, like, hits these potholes, right, in his career at TCU for a season, like, there's never any talk of like him getting fired. I think TCU, as much as it was so exciting, they went to the national championship a few years ago. I think they know who they are as a school. And I think they make prudent decisions like that. So if Sonny Dykes has a bad year, they understand they're not Michigan, so they probably won't make a change.
Which is a critical thing to have in your athletic department. I think Baylor understands that really well, too. I think just the profile of Baylor's changed a lot in the athletic department the last 20 years. So anyway, Pete Souza of Inside the 12, the Pete Souza Show, which talks plenty of Baylor and local sports, every weekday, 11 a.m. Eastern time, which is 10 a.m. Central time, which is what we really care about, live on YouTube and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. And I'm sure you will hear him on some broadcasts early on in the football season here from some Big 12 schools. Pete Souza, thanks so much for coming on. And thank you guys for making it your first listen today and every day. Let us know what you think in the comments below. What quarterbacks are going to raise their team into contention? What coaches have the most to prove? Where do you have Sawyer Robertson, Sam Levitt? What do you think about Pete's Avery Johnson take? Let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to like and subscribe. We are well on the path towards 4,000 subscribers, and we need your help to get there before football season. And we will see you tomorrow on another episode of your favorite show, Locked On Baylor.